Hello, scholars. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about benchmark fractions. And you're probably saying, well, what is a benchmark fraction? Have you ever measured a pencil or your desk? If you rounded to the nearest inch or foot, that's benchmarks. You are using benchmarks. And a benchmark fraction is a common fraction that gives you a reference to measure other fractions. So benchmark fractions are also used to help you compare and order other fractions. There are some common benchmarks, and the three that we're going to be using today are 0/1, which is also known as 0, 1/2, and 1/1, which is also a whole number. So we're going to be using those today with our benchmark fractions. Okay, so the essential question for today is how can you use benchmarks to compare fractions? For this example, we're going to use two fractions, the first one being 5/12 and the second one being 9/10. We're going to compare these fractions using benchmarks. Okay, now I've drawn the three lines already, but the first one has our essential benchmarks that we're going to be using. We have 0, 1/2, and 1/2. Now, as you're probably looking, right here, I've already drawn the 12 hash marks or parts for 12/12. So if you look, we start over here, 0/12 is the same as 0, and 12/12 is the same as 1/2. Now, what would we put down for the halfway mark? What is the halfway mark? That's right, 6/12. Very good, 6/12. All right, now if the fraction that we're trying to compare is 5/12, where do you think that's going to land? How would we find that? So we could count the hash mark, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another way would be to say, well, 6/12 is halfway, and 5/12 would be right here. So we know that 5/12 would be located here. 5/12. Okay. Alrighty, so the next one, 9/10. We're going to look down here. I've already drawn it separated into 10 parts. So over here we have 0 out of 10, which is the same as 0. And we have 10 out of 10, which is the same as 1/2. So what would fall right in the middle? What is half of 10? 5. That's right. So 5/10 would be the same as 1/2. Now the last fraction that we're trying to compare is 9/10. So where do you think it's going to fall? We know it's not going to be over here because 9 is greater than 5. So it's going to be somewhere over here. So we can either count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or you can say, well, 9/10 is close to 10/10, and that 10/10 is 1/2, so it should be right here. 9/10 should be right here. So going by our benchmark fractions, using our benchmark fractions, and placing the fractions that we're trying to compare, we can see that 5/12 is less than 9/10. So 5/12 is less than 9/10. Good job, guys. Now, by using benchmarks, we were able to conclude that 5/12 is close to 1/2, and 9/10 is close to 1/2. So in the future, if we were given this problem and we needed to find out whether two fractions, if we're comparing two fractions, we need to find out if one is less than or greater than, and if we didn't have this, we could say, well, 5/12 is close to 1/2, and 9/10 is close to 1 whole, and 1/2 is less than 1 whole. So, by using benchmarks and that mentality, we can figure out that 5/12 is less than 9/10.